Okay, so we just covered push and pop. Push adds to the end, it inserts a new element at the very end of an array, and pop removes the very last item from an array. Shift and unshift are also a pair who operate at the beginning of the array, the start. So the terminology is often a little confusing to beginners, and truth be told, to me at times. I still have been known to mix up shift and unshift. If I'm a little sleepy, if I'm not paying attention, I often will think, okay, unshift sounds like it removes something. Even though I know if I reflect just a little bit longer, I'll remember, oh, actually you have it backwards, and you have it backwards pretty much every time you're ever tired. Anyway, these names, push, pop, shift, and unshift, again, they come from other computer science structures, stacks and queues. We don't really need to concern ourselves with them, but that's where it comes from if you're wondering why it's called shift and unshift. So let's take a look at them. Let's start with shift. Shift removes from the beginning of an array. So it's like pop, but it removes from the beginning. So we have this movie line, which is just a line of people who have been waiting to see our movie. Tom is first in line, then Nancy, Pablo, Oliver, and then Eva. So to remove the first person in line, which is normally how we would do this, if you're the first person waiting, you usually are the first person to be helped or to get into the movie. So we can use shift, movie line dot shift. And this returns to me the thing, that element that it removed. In this case, it happens to be a string. If we look at movie line, it now has 4 people in it, 4 elements. So I could shift the next person, save that to a variable, let next patron, right? And then next patron is Nancy. And movie line is only 3 elements. So I can use that to remove from the beginning. And if we really wanted to mimic this idea of a line, well, then the first person who's been waiting is the first person to be helped. The last person added in would be the last person to be helped. So if we had someone else come in, let's say I join late, movie line, where would I go? If I'm going to the end of the line, I should be pushed. If we're being consistent here, we'll always add to the end and remove from the beginning. So now everyone else will be helped before me. Pablo, then Oliver, then Ava, and then me. And now it should be empty. And by the way, if I try and shift or pop from an empty array, we don't get an error, we just get nothing. We get undefined. All right, so that's shift. Unshift is how we add a new element to the beginning of an array. So let's add some stuff to our movie line. Let's just push a bunch of times, or even just one time. How about push Jerry, and then how about Dennis, Kevin, and Carly, all right? So nothing involving unshift yet. There's our line of people waiting to get in. Jerry has been waiting the longest. But then we have a special VIP come along, and this VIP gets to go right to the beginning of the line. Well, how do we do that? We can use unshift, and then we'll just call them VIP. Now we look at our movie line, and VIP is at the front, and now if we shift from the front, we get VIP. So these are sort of silly examples I'm showing you here, but they show the 4 core things that we can do so far. We can add and remove from the end of the array, or we can add and remove from the beginning. So push and pop work on the end, and then shift and unshift work on the beginning. You can use them in conjunction to mimic things like a queue for a movie. I use the term movie line instead of movie queue, but what we're mimicking is a queue of people. So if you want to do a bit more research into stacks and queues, I've really shown them to you without using the terminology very much. We saw earlier a stack of weights. We used push and pop to create a stack structure. So that's shift and unshift. We add and remove from the beginning. Push and pop operate on the end. These are really, really commonly used. And if it takes a little bit of time to get used to them, if you are like me and you occasionally stumble over shift and unshift, it's not a big deal. You'll get lots of practice. These 4 methods are probably the most common, or at least top 10 most commonly used array methods. So next up, we're going to take a look at some of the others.